Remember when cartoons were supposed to be innocent? When Saturday mornings meant harmless fun and wholesome laughs? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into the twisted, banned, and downright disturbing episodes of Ren and Stimpy that Nickelodeon desperately wants you to forget. I'm talking about episodes so graphic, so psychologically unhinged that they were ripped from the airwaves faster than you could say happy happy joy joy. Episodes that made grown adults question what they just witnessed, and left an entire generation of 90s kids slightly traumatized. But here's the thing, these weren't accidents. They were the twisted vision of one man's descent into creative madness. And today, we're going behind the scenes to uncover the shocking truth about animation's most controversial creator, the network battles that destroyed careers, and the banned episodes that still haunt YouTube at 3 a.m. Stay till the end, because I'll reveal which banned episode was so disturbing that it literally ended the original series. And why some fans believe it was intentionally designed to destroy John Kricfalusi's career from the inside. Let's set the stage. It's 1991. Nickelodeon is desperate for original content, and along came this weird, scraggly animator named John Kricfalusi with a pitch that would change cartoon history forever. Ren and Stimpy wasn't just different. It was revolutionary. Extreme close-ups of rotting teeth, snot bubbles that lasted entire scenes, and a level of grotesque detail that made parents physically recoil. But beneath the gross-out humor lurked something darker. You see, John K., as he was known in the industry, had a vision that went far beyond what Nickelodeon bargained for. He wanted to push boundaries. He wanted to traumatize children. And most dangerously of all, he wanted complete creative control. What network executives didn't realize was that they just handed the keys to their children's programming block to someone who viewed censorship as a personal attack on his artistic vision. The result? A 3-year war that would produce some of the most psychologically disturbing content ever created. And episodes so extreme that they remained banned to this day. But before we dive into the banned episodes, smash that like button if you remember watching these as a kid and thinking, something's not right here. Our first episode is the infamous Man's Best Friend, and trust me, this isn't your typical boy and his dog story. The plot? Ren and Stimpy get adopted by a little girl named George LaCour. Yes, that was actually his name. An American patriot who believes in discipline through violence. What follows is 11 minutes of psychological torture disguised as a children's cartoon. The episode features Ren being repeatedly disciplined with a paddle, screaming in genuine terror while Stimpy watches helplessly. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The animation lingers on every impact with disturbingly realistic detail that no children's cartoon should ever contain. The climax? Ren finally snaps and retaliates against George LaCour with an oar, with injury aftermath shown in graphic cartoon detail. The episode ends with Ren's maniacal laughter echoing as the camera pans away from the disturbing scene. Nickelodeon executives watched this in horror. This wasn't pushing boundaries. This was animated domestic violence. This episode was immediately banned and John K. was fired within weeks. But here's the kicker. Some fans believe John K. deliberately made this episode as extreme as possible, knowing it would get him fired so he could escape his Nickelodeon contract and pursue his even darker vision. Speaking of darker visions, if you think Man's Best Friend was disturbing, wait until you hear about what happened when John K. got complete creative freedom. Fast forward to 2003. Spike TV offers John Kricfalusi the Holy Grail, an uncensored Ren and Stimpy for adults. No network interference, no content restrictions, just pure unfiltered creative badness. The result was Ren and Stimpy's adult party cartoon, and it was a psychological horror show. The episode, Onward Christian Soldiers, featuring Ren subjecting Stimpy to disturbing medieval-themed scenarios while religious hymns play in the background. We're talking animation so detailed and unsettling that it crosses every line of what should be considered entertainment. But the most banned episode from the series? Altruists. This episode shows Ren and Stimpy as homeless men who turn to, let's call it adult work, to survive. The episode features adult themes so explicit they can't be described on this platform, including scenes where characters break down emotionally in ways that feel genuinely disturbing to watch. Adult Swim pulled it after one airing. Fans who recorded it described feeling genuinely disturbed and like they'd witnessed something they should have never seen. The episode was so extreme that even adult animation fans, people who watch South Park and Family Guy religiously, couldn't handle it. It remains the most requested lost episode on dark web forums to this day. But why did John K. create such disturbing content? The answer lies in a dark psychology that's more twisted than any episode he ever animated. Industry insiders describe John Kricfalusi as a man obsessed with pushing psychological boundaries in animation. Former animators report that he would spend hours studying disturbing imagery from various sources, claiming he was researching authentic human emotions. But it gets worse. Voice actors from the show have revealed that John K. would often direct them to scream as if you're genuinely in pain and like your childhood is being destroyed. Some performers required breaks and support after particularly intense recording sessions. The most disturbing revelation? John K. kept a collection of what he called inspirational materials, disturbing films and imagery that he would reference with his animation team to capture what he called authentic suffering in their drawings. One animator who requested to remain anonymous told me that working on Ren and Stimpy felt like animating someone else's psychological breakdown in real time. This explains why the banned episodes feel so genuinely disturbing. They weren't just cartoon violence. They were the animated manifestation of one man's deep psychological issues played out through characters that millions of children loved. But then there's one more banned episode that's so extreme, so psychologically damaging, that it's never been leaked, aired, or even officially acknowledged. According to industry legends, there exists a lost episode created during the adult party cartoon era that was deemed unsuitable for human consumption by network executives. The episode, reportedly titled Stimpy's First Time, allegedly depicts themes so disturbing that even describing them would violate content guidelines. The few people who've allegedly seen it describe feeling genuinely unsettled and like they'd witnessed something that shouldn't exist. Here's what we know. It was animated, it was completed, and it was immediately locked away, with all copies supposedly destroyed. But here's where it gets interesting. Some fans believe copies still exist, hidden in John K.'s personal collection. There are rumors of private screenings at underground animation festivals where viewers sign waivers before watching. The question is, what could be so disturbing that it makes man's best friend look like Sesame Street? What psychological horror did John Kricfalusi create that was deemed too extreme for even the darkest corners of adult animation? Look, Ren and Stimpy gave us some of the most innovative animation in TV history. It pushed boundaries, challenged censorship, and created characters that became cultural icons. But beneath the gross-out humor and cartoon violence lurks something genuinely dark. The psychological obsessions of a creator who used children's entertainment as his personal therapy session. These banned episodes aren't just lost media curiosities. They're windows into a mind that saw childhood innocence as something to be corrupted, animation as a weapon, and television as a platform for psychological warfare. The real question isn't whether these episodes should remain banned. It's whether John Kricfalusi's influence on modern animation runs deeper than we realize. Because if you look closely at today's darkest cartoons, you might just recognize his twisted fingerprints. And speaking of twisted fingerprints, next week we're diving into the banned episodes of another beloved 90s cartoon that will make Ren and Stimpy look tame by comparison. I'm talking about episodes so unsettling they sparked urban legends about health warnings, viewer complaints, and one incident that, well, you'll have to wait and see. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because this rabbit hole goes deeper than you think. The dark side of 90s animation is just getting started.